Since 2018, I've been utilizing Facebook organic marketing strategies. It's generated millions in our business. We've used it with our clients and they've generated millions and millions of dollars. Okay, and in this video, I want to share with you some basic and foundational strategies and tactics that you can utilize to generate anywhere from 100 to 200 warm leads into your business every single week using Facebook organic marketing. Okay, we're going to jump into the computer. I've got a doc where we go through everything step by step, and you really aren't going to want to miss this one. So stick with me all the way until the end if you want to be able to go and implement this starting today. Okay, before we jump into it, if you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and check out that first link in the description where I break down an offer document that generated 45K in 11 days, and you can get a feel for how we do things, which is pretty different to the rest of the coaching, consulting, mentorship, sales market. Okay, appreciate you checking out this video. Let's jump right in. Cheers. All right, folks, so let's dive right into it and talk all about growing your Facebook audience, okay? And this is going to be for free. You're going to be able to grow a targeted pool of people that you're going to be able to connect with, build your pipeline, pitch your products and services and stuff too. And don't underestimate the simplicity of it. This method's been around for a while, and I think because of that, some people might disregard it as, out of date or whatever. And I can tell you, we have clients that crush it still with this, and it's a great way if you are first getting started to build up your audience to do it without needing to, have a video go viral, pump money into ads, wait on YouTube or Google to rank your content. You can get out there, get on the front foot, be proactive, and grow your audience. So if you're prepared to put in the time, you're prepared to put in the work and the effort, I think you're really, really going to like this one. Okay. Now, I just wanted to say really quickly, if you've got audience in other places and you're watching this and you're like, okay, I've got a bit of an email list, or I've got a bit of an Instagram following, or whatever platform, and you're now like, all right, I want to add on Facebook as another piece to my, traffic engine for my business. Utilize those resources as well, okay? Don't just think that you have to start from blank canvas, right? It would be very, very advantageous if you took your email list and you sent them all to become a friend with you on Facebook, or, let's say when we get to the part where we're going to talk about groups, you sent them all to join your groups, or both, right? And you did that over and over again to try and utilize the benefit from that audience in setting this up, okay? So you don't have to start from scratch. So if you do have another audience, feel free to utilize it, okay? But we're just going to assume for a second that you are starting from scratch. And so our goal is to help you build up a pool of 5,000 targeted friends, right, who are in your market and could potentially do business with you in the future. Okay, 5,000 is what your friends list caps out at the time of filming this. And the reason we say friends is because you're using your personal profile, and that's what that connection is called, right? You could call them leads, you could call them your network, whatever, right? But Facebook calls them friends because we're using our profile for this. That's an important distinction. This is your personal Facebook profile, or a profile that you set up to use for business, not a fan page. Okay, fan pages, great, use them for ads. We can talk about that another time. This is for organic marketing using your profile that you've probably already got. Okay, so a couple of tools. What are we going to need? All right, first thing we're going to need is an optimized Facebook profile. Okay, now we have another video on this channel where I walk through exactly how to set up your profile the right way so that it's optimized, what to include in the banners, what to include in the bio, content, what links to put in there, all that kind of stuff, right? I'll make sure there's a link to that in the description so that you can go over and check that out after you watch this video. If you haven't already got a set up profile, you're going to need to be starting to create content. Again, we've got videos about how to create content and how to do it the right way, which I can link below for you. And you're going to need Facebook Messenger as well. Okay, so this could be 2 apps on your phone, or if you don't want to deal with it on your phone, you can do it on your computer. But we are going to be using Messenger as well. All right, so these are our main tools that we're going to be utilizing. Okay, now lead sources. So how are we actually going to grow this friends list? All right, well, we've got a couple of different ones, and some people might ask, well, like, what's best, or what should I use? I'm going to encourage you to experiment. Okay, we've seen different results in different markets, different people. It really just depends on what it is that you are ultimately trying to build, the niche that you're in, all that kind of stuff. So I want to give you the different lead sources, then I'm going to encourage you to go out and test. And what you should really do is track your sales. Okay, I was just talking with a client who was letting me know that she just closed a course sale, and I said, and where did that person come from? Right? And she's like, oh shit, I don't know. I said, you need to go out and find what's the source of that lead, because if we start to trace where our clients are coming from and the path that they've come through, right? That's not to say we can just repeat it over and over and over again. It's sunshine and rainbows, but that data point is really, really helpful. Okay, that data point is very helpful. So then we can actually start to engineer to have that happen more often, right? She said, oh, he came from this email, and then she's going to go back and find how he actually ended up on the list. But then I looked at the email for it and I said, you should take this email, right? Put that at the center of a mind map, and now we can come up with 4, 5, 6 different ideas that spin off this. Similar concept, right? Similar core concept. But now we can tackle it from different angles, because if it got us 1 client, it can probably get us 2, it can probably get us 4. Okay, it's a little bit of a tangent there, but lead sources. Okay, so over on Facebook, right, there's a couple of different places that you can start building up your audience from. Okay, now you do need to be careful with this, right? If you go and abuse any one of these, with some being more sensitive than others, you will potentially get kicked out of groups, or people might block you, or you'll piss people off. But you need to decide if what's the right amount, and you need to use a little bit of judgment as you go about doing this. Okay, it's also about doing it the right way, which we'll talk about as we go through this. Okay, the goal here isn't to build up 5,000 people on our list that the second they become a friend, or the second that we add them, we are like ramming a sales page down their throat to try and sell them something. Okay, what's important to understand here is, in the long run, you want to be building up a network of people, right, that you can build a relationship with at scale through your content, right, that may want to do business with you. Okay, so we're taking a very relaxed, a very chilled out approach. Our goal is to slowly each day build up that network, build up our pipeline, which we're going to talk about. And when we do that consistently, and we make offers consistently, you will get to a point where you are closing deals every day. Okay, that same concept applies to YouTube as it does to email, as it does to TikTok, as it does to Instagram. Just how you build the relationships is slightly different and nuanced on each platform. Okay, so let's talk about lead sources. First one is paid communities that you are part of, right? This is, groups that might be part of courses, masterminds, software. You can use those groups to build up your friends list. Okay, now if you buy a course and you join, and in the first 5 days you add every member as a friend, and you send all of them a message, and you compromise the customer experience of that group that you are a member of, you're probably going to get kicked out, you're probably going to get flamed, and you're going to piss a lot of people off. Okay, so again, use some judgment here, build your network at a slow to moderate pace, right? Do it naturally, and I think you'll be fine. Okay, that's one you can look at. The other one you can look at is suggested friends. Okay, this is a little feature on Facebook where it'll suggest friends on the side. What I would encourage you to do is actually use some of these other sources first until you build up, at least 1,000, maybe 1,500 friends, and then look at adding in suggested friends. Okay, and the reason I say that is because when Facebook starts suggesting you friends, it's based on the people that you've connected with already. Okay, so the more data points that we give it in terms of like, this is the type of person that I want on my profile, aka the friends that we've already built up, the more accurate, I guess, or more dialed those suggested friends are going to be. Okay, so this is a source to keep up your sleeve, but I would utilize a couple of these other ones first to get that initial pool of people and give Facebook the data to be able to send you the correct suggested friends. Okay, third one is ads. Right now, I don't mean running ads, I mean paying attention to the ads that are being run in your niche and to the audience of people that you may want to connect with. Then I want you to pay attention to the people who are engaging with those ads. Okay, if those people are actively interacting with ads in your market with other people in your market, they're clearly interested in those types of products and clearly have problems that you can probably help them solve. Okay, so this is another one that you can look at, right? And you're going to be able to add people who are active and engaging and interacting, right? And they're also doing it with paid products. Right now, obviously, look at the interactions and go, is this positive, is this negative, right? If you look at an ad and there's people who are commenting and they're like, get this shit out of my feed, blah, 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 you obviously don't want to add them. They're obviously not very receptive. So, again, use a little bit of judgment, and I think you'll be able to find some good leads from there. All right. Number 4, free groups. Okay, so very similar to the paid communities, but these are just free Facebook groups that you can join. All right, again, same rules apply. If you go and abuse any one community, you're going to get booted out, you're going to get flamed, and you're probably going to piss a bunch of people off. Okay, this happens on Facebook, right? This is happening whether you like it or not. So you can choose if this is something that you want to do or not, right? Like I run a group, for example. I have paid communities, I have free communities, and I know that this happens in both, right? And honestly, if it's happening and I don't hear about it and people aren't getting pissed off and it's not compromising the experience, there's not really a lot I can do about it, right? I don't own that person on Facebook. They've just elected to join my group and are expressing an interest in hearing from me, right? I think people get all bent out of shape at this because, oh, if you're in my group, then, you know, I own that lead, and it's just not the case, right? But if I get a message saying, hey, we've had, like from my support team saying, hey, we've had 10 complaints this week about Bob, he's hitting up every Facebook group member with this message and it's pissing people off, then yeah, that's a problem, because now he's impacting my community's experience. All right. So again, if you do this normally and naturally and organically and grow your audience, you know, slowly, surely, and do it in a way without being a dick, without being high pressure, you'll be fine. Okay. And then the last one is similar to the ads, but look at who are following other big names in your industry or other big pages in your industry, and you'll find people there. Okay, people say, oh, you know, I don't know who to add, there's not enough friends, all that kind of stuff. There is so many billions of people on Facebook. You're only trying to find 5,000 of them. And between those sources, I'm 100% confident that you'll be able to do it. It just takes a little bit of digging, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of work to find those groups, to find the good groups, and to go about doing it, and then to track, okay? So I want to walk you, with those sources in mind, I want to walk you through the steps to making this all happen, okay? So step one, and these all build on top of each other, right? We need to do each of these on top of each other. So step one, new friends, all right? So what I want you to start doing is every day, right? If you want to start building up an audience on Facebook, keeping in mind, if you've got an audience elsewhere, feel free to send them over. But if you want to bring in new people on Facebook, I want to see you start sending out friend requests to people from the sources that I mentioned before who are in your market and niche. Okay, I want you to start tracking the number of people that you're adding every day, and then alongside that, I want you to track the growth of the number of friends on your profile, daily, weekly, monthly, right? I'll let you decide what interval. You might want to just start with weekly and monthly. Daily might be slight overkill. Some people like to do that. But what that's going to tell you, right, is, well, I add this many friends last week, and my profile grew by this many. And if you're not satisfied with that growth, or you want to grow faster, then you can speed it up by adding more. Okay, so if you keep track of those things, you can actually make it happen faster. But I just want to add, be careful, right? Because if you do go too hard, too fast on this, and it also depends on how old your Facebook profile is. If you've got a really new profile, you're going to have to go real slow. If you've got an older one, you're going to have a bit more bandwidth, but I wouldn't go out of the gate really, really hard. I would progressively build up, because otherwise you're going to piss Facebook off. You're going to start getting banned, and you're going to have all kinds of problems. All right, so if you do want to speed it up, do it progressively. Okay, what I want you to do is just get into the flow of doing this every day, right? If you want a starting point, start with 20, right? Start with 20 a day, see how you go. You'll get to the end of the first month, see how many people have actually joined your friends list. Are you happy with that growth? Do you want to go harder? Bump it up to 25, 30, 40, and just keep going until you're kind of satisfied with the growth within the limits of, you know, you're not setting off warnings, or you know, Facebook's not sending you notifications that, hey, you know, you're breaching our terms, or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's part one, right? We use these lead sources to start building up that pool of people. Okay, that's what we have to do first, right? Now, as that audience starts to grow, okay, we need to start feeding them with relevant and helpful content. Okay, we want to be as consistent as possible while we're growing, and then if later on you want to dial back your frequency, you may not want to, but you can down the track. But early on, I want you really getting into the rhythm of ideally creating content daily, right? Some people say you don't need to, and it really just depends on methodology. I've created content consistently since 2018, and it's been pretty pivotal in us selling, you know, millions of dollars using these strategies. Okay, so I'm an advocate for consistent and frequent content. Even if some people say you don't need to, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get. The better you get at content, the more people you're going to convert into clients. It's as simple as that. Okay, the more opportunity that you give yourself to, you know, hone in on your craft, you may as well do it, right? So we want to be as consistent as possible. Okay, so with our content, this is where we're going to be leveraging written posts. They might be short form, they might be long form. Your shorter form posts are typically going to get more engagement, more interaction. You can keep that in mind for something we're going to talk about in a moment. Your longer form posts, while they're not going to get the same amount of interaction or engagement, if people are spending the time to read a longer form post, when we move into talking about actually generating leads off people from our audience, they are going to be more qualified in that they've spent more time with you, they've consumed more of your content, and they're going to be further along what we call the prospect spectrum. And I'll make another video on that in the future. So shorter form content, right? Naturally, it's easier for people to interact with, it's easier for them to consume quickly, but they're not spending as much time with you, right? Like a 2-minute YouTube video versus a 20-minute YouTube video. 2-minute video might get a lot more views and a lot more people might watch it all the way through, but there's only so much depth you can go into. Okay, so it depends. It's like a quality versus quantity play. So I want you to play around with both and mix it up. Okay, you can also play around with Facebook stories, Facebook lives, uploading videos, all that kind of stuff. All right, you're going to be providing value, right? Like, how do you do stuff like I'm doing in this video, sharing stories of how you got where you are, sharing testimonials, sharing your results, sharing your opinions, your beliefs, letting people into your world a little bit, right? Like, super little one, but I just put up a video on my profile this morning because I'm in an apartment where we're on the beach and it's whale season, and we had a couple of whales cruising past, and they stopped like just outside the apartment here in the water, and were splashing around and waving their tail and stuff, right? So I uploaded a little video of that, right? And that's not any deep strategy or tactic. That's just giving people an insight into my world and into my life, right? So, you know, it can be as simple as that, but you're going to want to, you know, obviously bake in more strategy and value and testimonials and results and your opinions and all those kind of things, right? This isn't a video to go deep on content. We've done that already, and I'll keep creating videos about how to create effective content, but that's what needs to start rolling consistently. Okay, here's what's going to happen next. Once you start doing that, and assuming you are continuing to grow that audience every day, people are going to start engaging and interacting with your posts, watching your videos, watching your lives, watching your stories. Okay, we call these expressions of interest. All right, when people are interacting with your stuff, you guys are watching this video, right? It means that you're interested in this topic. Hopefully we can work together at some point. I don't know when that's going to be. It might be sooner, it might be later. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Content gives you leverage. Okay, but if people are watching and interacting with your stuff, that is an expression of interest. They're interested in the topic. They're interested in you. They're interested in potentially, at some point in the future, working together. Okay, so this is really, really important. What we then do, we roll into step 3, and this is where we're going to initiate the connection. Okay, now how consistent you be with this and how ruthless you want to be with this in terms of making sure that you generate as many leads as possible is going to depend on, do you have any other lead generation sources? How aggressive and hungry are you to get results? How many conversations do you want to be having? Okay, there's a lot of variables, and ultimately that's going to depend on the individual, right? If we do work together, I can give you more tailored feedback based on your situation, based on your goals, based on the price of your offer, the amount of volume that you need to sell, all those kind of things. But again, you deploy some judgment as you use these strategies. Okay, I'm just here to give you the guidance in terms of the strategy, and then you can go and implement them, or you can get in touch if you want our help tailoring it to your situation more. Okay, and so what we do with these expressions of interest, now that our audience is growing, we've got people interacting with our stuff, we're going to use this to feed our pipeline with warm leads every day. Okay, so what we do is we can just get in touch with the people who are watching our stories, engaging with our posts, watching our lives, and we can say something like, thanks for your time. You know, probably wouldn't say thanks for your attention, but that's essentially what we're thanking them for, right? You know, people are super busy, right? Super busy. And the fact that even like right now, you are watching this video of me, the fact that you are giving me your time, you're giving me attention when there is literally a million other things you could be doing, not just online, but in the real world right now, that means a hell of a lot to me. So thank you, right? And that's what we're doing with this message, okay? So thanking the people that are interacting with your stuff and starting a conversation from there, right? Now, a couple of things are gonna happen. Very tiny percentage of people might get pissed off. I very rarely see it with this approach, because you're only getting in touch with people who are interacting with your content, and obviously you're going to only get in touch with the people who are interacting positively, right? Unless you want to get into like a screaming match with a troll, and you're being very you're being very casual, right? And you're just saying thanks. It's a super chilled out approach. So very small percentage of people might get annoyed, whatever, that's their problem, not yours. The vast majority of people are either going to simply ignore you, right? Still happens, or they'll say, yeah, cheers, thanks, and boom, you're off to the races with a bit of a conversation. Okay, now, again, keep it cool, stay normal, don't freak out, right? I don't give a shit if if initiating this conversation leads to a sale now or in 3 months. right? Obviously amazing if from there to a sale in 24 hours, great. And it happens. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is to initiate the conversation with someone who's expressed an interest in your content and you and what you do and the people that you help, right? So what we're doing here is we're building up a pipeline. We're building a lot of relationships at scale, okay, using our content and using Messenger, all right? I want you to just keep it really chilled out. Don't push it. Don't be weird. Just keep it really, really normal, okay? So each of these relationships is a new lead in your pipeline. Okay, and then as we're doing this consistently, right? So now we've got 3 things that we're doing consistently. We're growing our audience every day. We're putting out content to generate our expressions of interest, and we are initiating conversations and relationships with the people who are putting out those expressions of interest by way of interacting with our content. We're building up that pipeline every single day. Okay, and what's going to happen is this compound effect is going to kick in. And you're just going to become more and more magnetic as you keep sharing value, you keep sharing results, you keep showing up daily. You will make an undeniable case for people to work with you, right? And then all they have to do is boom, revert back to the conversation that you were having with them, and you get the deal done. Okay, and your sales will start to tip in, right? People who might have ignored you previously will start reaching out. It's really awesome when you see this happening. I've had people who've been in my audience for years, and just by sheer consistency and showing up for literally years, they've gone, dude, I've been watching you for like 3 years. I've seen you win all these awards. I'm stuck. I need your help. Can you let me know about working together? And that didn't take me a ton of time, right? That just took me consistently showing up. And it's this done consistently over weeks, months, quarters, and years that will grow how powerful this as a lead generation and as a sale generation source can be. Okay, and you'll ultimately get to the point where you're closing daily deals. Okay, now that may sound incredibly, incredibly simple, and I'll leave it up to you if you're gonna run with it or write it off based on simplicity. Okay, I can tell you every time I take steps towards simplifying my business and suspending my, my beliefs that things need to be complicated, I'm usually pretty nicely surprised. Okay, now before we wrap this up, a couple of little bonus things, right? If you want to juice up the number of conversations that you are having, particularly earlier on, okay, if you're not getting a lot of engagement yet or you're not getting a lot of interaction, you can open up the bandwidth on the number of conversations that you're having, right? By having cold conversations. Okay, some people are going to see this and go, oh my God, you're an idiot. Never do cold conversation. It's just not true. It works, right? You're just going to have to work harder for it in the DMs. We like using the content in conjunction with it because it gives us a lot more leverage and we're only talking to people who are interacting with our stuff. But at the same time, if you're building from absolute scratch and you want to make it go faster and you're prepared to have those conversations with people cold, great. It's going to give you more leads, but you're going to spend more time in the DMs. Again, it's your business. I don't know all of the ins and outs and particulars, so you deploy some judgment here. What you might want to do is open up that bandwidth early, and then as things start growing, as you've got more expressions of interest, as you've got more leads, you can ratchet it back to the point that you don't need to do the cold outreach anymore. Okay, but ultimately that's going to be up to you. So there's an option if you want to increase the number of conversations that you're ultimately having. Okay, and then bonus number 2 is bolting on a group. Okay, so Facebook groups, they've been around for quite a while at this stage, still work, still crush it. But once you're rocking and rolling, right, and you're growing your audience every day, you're getting those expressions of interest every day, you're adding people to your pipeline every day, if you want to take things up a notch and get a little bit more advanced, you can add a group on, okay? And what you can start doing is moving people from your profile to your group. You can do that through lead magnets. You can do that through straight up posts saying, hey, I'm starting a group about this topic. Comment below if you want access and link them over. You can drop it in the DMs, right? Someone that you might have been talking with. Hey, I've started a group. If you're interested, check it out. And you kind of just hustle your way to that first 400 to 600 people. If you get to that point, right, and the exact numbers vary, if you get to that point and you're actually getting good engagement in your group, you've got a whole new lead flow source. Right? Because what's going to happen is Facebook's actually going to start recommending your group to people. It knows the people that are in there. It knows what they're interested in. It's pretty smart, right? The algorithm is very smart. So when you start doing that, you're going to have more people coming in, okay? So now we've got the new people that are coming onto our profile, who are engaging with our stuff, watching our stuff. Now we've got new group members who are raising their hand on the way in. You can ask them a question when they join and say, hey, do you want me to reach out about XYZ? More new people to get in touch with. You've got people who are engaging with your group. You've got people who are raising their hand when you ask questions in the group, when you provide value. They're interacting more of those expressions of interest. And this is just more people to add into your pipeline, okay? So you guys can see how this compounds on top of each other, right? This is what we've been doing consistently for years at this point, and what we've helped so many people do, right? This is just one arm. This is one part of a traffic engine. This is Facebook organic, okay? As I've said here, eventually you can add additional traffic sources on. You can start uploading onto YouTube. YouTube video can lead to an email. Email can lead up to the group. Boom. Now these people have come from YouTube. They're in the group. They're interacting, expressions of interest in the DMs, add to the pipeline, close the deals that way, right? Or they're YouTube onto email, into the group. They like what's going on. They start paying attention to your emails. You send out a link in email. They buy that way. What we're building here, and what you're going to keep hearing me talk about, is an ecosystem. Okay, an ecosystem of free content, an ecosystem of offers, an ecosystem of value that's ultimately built all around you as the personal brand. And if you keep doing it consistently, things are going to keep on compounding. Okay, so hopefully you got some value from that. If you want to go and implement that yourself, you are obviously welcome to, and I'd love to hear how you go with it all. Key to this is consistency, quality content, having conversations and not being weird, like just being like a normal human being, having a good product and a good offer that actually gets people results, and showing up and doing it over and over and over again, hitting your numbers, tracking your numbers, all that kind of stuff. And I think this will be a really, really nice addition to your lead flow, building up your network, building up your traffic, especially for folks who are earlier on, who don't want to spend money on paid ads, who don't want to wait for a video to go viral, who don't want to wait for a blog or a YouTube channel to rank. Here's an awesome strategy for you, and I hope you go and utilize it. As always, check out that first link in the description if you want our help with implementing this, or working with my team to build out your ecosystem, work on your offers, build up your personal brand, all that kind of stuff. We can work together more closely and implement together and get into the nuances and the particulars of your situation, because they are going to vary person to person. Otherwise, take this one, go use it. We've used it to generate millions. Our clients have generated millions and millions with it, and it's pretty awesome. So I hope you got value from that one. I appreciate you hanging out with me in this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.